Most World War II veterans aren't around anymore to tell their stories or describe their experiences.
Which is why one Illinois woman wrote a book honoring her mother who served in World War II. Taylor Castro shares the journey of Molly.
When she was living in her assisted living facility, she would spend her whole time with the men who had served because she served.
Author Cyndee Schaffer tells her mother's story of being a woman serving in World War II.
It just gives a whole different perspective on World War II because most of the time it's the men's stories or it's the nurses' stories. And this was a woman who decided to join up, and she wasn't a nurse.
Molly Weinstein Schaffer was in the Women's Army Corps. They were the first women who were not nurses to serve overseas.
I could not believe that my mother would have made the decision that she did to join the military. She was a very quiet person. She didn't make waves. She was just very quiet and meek. And for her to spend these 2 years in the military and all the different things that she did, I was just beyond amazed.
Molly left the United States to serve in England and France before returning home. Her journey was uncharacteristic for women of the time.
The male's perspective of the women in the war, how they felt that women should not be serving and how women couldn't serve, and that the only things that they were good for were, doing the office work. So it was very enlightening as the opinions of others with the women in the war.
Schaffer's book includes letters her mother wrote home during the war. These helped Molly tell her own story.
You see in the newspaper in the 90s and the early 2000s that they were looking for stories. Call this person, they want your story. Tell them about what you did in the war. And I would say to my mother, call this person, they want your story. And my mother would say, nope, I want my own book. I don't want to be part of someone else's story.
The book provides insight into what it was like for women in uniform.
Well, I think the most important thing is just to remember veterans and how they served our country and what they gave us. And if they hadn't done what they did, America today would be a lot different than it is now. And I think those kind of things should be honored and remembered.
One of Schaffer's biggest takeaways from the experience is how important it is to learn about the past.
You should talk to your parents or your grandparents. You really need to learn what their lives were like before they became your parents.
That was Taylor Castro reporting.